About halfway through this presentation, we're going to start a Q&A. So if you have questions throughout, go ahead and submit those to the Q&A when that option is available to you. And let's take a look at the agenda. Okay, so for this new Mosaic signature process, we're going to demonstrate what the old process was versus the new process, explain the change, do some live demonstration, demonstrate some unhappy path resolutions, show you how to access the Mosaic portal, and then again, we'll wrap up with a Q&A session. So let's talk about the old process versus the new process. Now, for all of you who have used Mosaic in the past, in Aurora, the old method was to qualify a homeowner by opening up a loan application, qualifying their credit, and then immediately send their loan documents from the Aurora platform to the homeowner's inbox. The new method for generating loan documents in Aurora is to complete the same credit application in Aurora. However, when you convert that to a project now, after loan approval, Mosaic documents will be generated in the DocuSign workflow at project generation. So this is an amazing new improvement that gives the homeowners kind of a one-stop shop, one simple, easy-to-use package to sign their freedom contract, their disclosures, and their Mosaic documents at the point of sale. Let's jump over to Aurora and demonstrate what this looks like live. So we're going to press the Exit to CRM button now that we've built this project and move to the next stage. And now we're going to work through the project generator, filling in all the essential information and moving through this project generation process. Next, what we'll see on this third screen is now that we've had the loan application approved, it's automatically grabbed that loan application and attached to the DocuSign process for Mosaic. So we see the Mosaic documents included in the information we're going to send to the homeowner. Let's click Send Documents and Exit and send them to the homeowner. Okay, so back over at the presentation, you can see from the live demo, when you complete the loan in Aurora and convert the project to Lightspeed, the loan ID automatically attaches to that project and loan documents are included in that DocuSign workflow. Now, if you completed the loan application in the Mosaic portal, not in Aurora, and have generated the project manually, you will need to copy and paste that loan ID into the project generator. So let's take what that looks like. So the Mosaic portal, you can get to by joinmosaic.com and clicking their partner portal login. You'll get there by using your Lightspeed login. You'll see your opportunities in that login screen. If you've logged in, you'll go to opportunities, and you can copy and paste those application ID directly into your project generator. So let's give you another live demo of what that looks like live. Okay, so let's demonstrate how you would generate a project in Lightspeed and copy the Mosaic application ID over. So in Lightspeed, I'm going to click the Generate Project button, choose Mosaic, and then populate the information for my project. Fill in all of the appropriate details and work our way through the project generator. After the summary details screen, put in the contract price and move to the next screen. At the payment options summary, now when you are generating the project manually through Mosaic, you will see the Mosaic application ID in the project generator. Again, there's a skip for now button if you don't have that information. We're going to operate if you do have that information, and I'm going to navigate over to Mosaic's portal. So I've gone to joinmosaic.com, and I'm going to log in through their portal and log in with my Lightspeed credentials. I will take the application ID for my project, return to the project generator and check the ID. we are shown that our application is approved, so we will click continue and finish the final steps to create this project. So when we get to the document upload screen, you will see we attached our application ID from the portal. The Mosaic loan documents are included in the DocuSign workflow. Let's jump back over the presentation and move over to unhappy path. So what do you do when things don't go as smoothly or there's a speed bump in the process? We've got a couple of screenshots we're going to show you of what that looks like. So first, in the event that the Mosaic ID does not have an approved status or the amount is not enough for the requested loan amount, the rep will receive an error message. In this case, enter a different Mosaic ID if one exists. So this is another example of needing a Mosaic ID to move the process forward. Again, you'll notice on all of that skip button is still available if you don't have this information. Again, this will never block submission of a project, but this is a way to generate those documents in that one simple workflow. So these are 3 examples. Credit application denied, loan not large enough with available solutions, and to add the Mosaic ID, and need a Mosaic ID that's missing from the project in general. So I'm going to jump over and do one live demonstration about what we would do in a situation where credit was blocked and that you created a new application or did the proposal and ran credit with someone else in the property. So let's jump over to that. Okay, so in this example, we run another application and we're going to get the message that pops up here momentarily that the credit application was denied for that project. So I'm going to jump over to the Mosaic portal and grab the approved credit. So now that I'm in the Mosaic portal, I'm going to scroll down, grab that application ID, and copy that, return to my project, paste the application ID with the approved credit. Now that the credit's approved, I can click continue and move on to the next stage of that project. So from the customer's perspective, they will get one email from Freedom Forever where they will be prompted to sign all the documents, including the Mosaic loan documents and contract documents. So this makes the signing experience much more and easy for the customers. Before we get to our Q&A session, we just want to remind you of a couple of quick additional notes. Co-signers will also receive a separate email with the e-sign consent. This consent will need to be accepted before the Mosaic loan will be countersigned. Failure to complete this step will impact the project's clean deal status in the Freedom Advantage program. And in the event that this process is skipped, projects will still be able to be created and submitted. In other words, this integration will not block projects based on credit status or loan document status. So again, about halfway through the presentation, a Q&A session popped up for you. Hopefully you've been submitting your questions. We have a panel of guests here to answer your questions, and we'll start putting them up on screen now. So let's get to that Q&A. So if you have any questions related to the Mosaic doc integration, please submit those to the Q&A now. We'll get them up on screen and answer. So far, we don't have any questions in the chat. So go ahead and drop those questions in the Q&A now. We'll get those answered for you.
Mark, while we're waiting for some questions, I'll chime in real quick. Hey guys, this is Rob Angel Morning, and thanks everybody for being here. Super excited about this launch. We think it's going to make the signing process a heck of a lot smoother and simpler, and also correct the order of operations, which I can talk about. But in terms of the launch time, I just want to touch on that. I don't think Mark covered that in the main piece, which is totally cool. So we are planning to launch this first thing in tomorrow. We have everything ready to go. Ready. It's been tested. It's gone through quality assurance. Everything looks good at this point. We want to give everyone an opportunity to kind of absorb this and pass it around, make sure everybody gets the memo before we launch it. So first thing tomorrow morning is when we plan to launch. So anything you run tonight will be normal process, and then you come tomorrow, you'll start seeing the Mosaic docs come through in Freedom DocuSign process, and the prompts to enter the Mosaic IDs if it's not already received from Aurora. So hopefully that all makes sense. We'll be able to get some Q&A here.
All right, so we got some questions popping in now. Some of the frequently asked ones is, how do we access a recording of the training? We will upload this and send out a recap. Also, a additional video that we've created with instructions that we'll send out in that recap email. So we will send all of that out in one email later this afternoon, where you can review all the Q&A from today, the presentation, and then we also have a companion video that explains this process. So our first question is, well, we just addressed, will the recording be shared? And our first question is from Marco. If the project ID gets skipped, at what point does the homeowner sign the loan document? Rob, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's multiple ways to create a project, as Mark went over. So depending on how you run credit and how you're creating the project, this answer will do. If you run credit within Aurora and you convert the project from Aurora, that Mosaic ID is just going to pass right through, and everything should work behind the scenes with very little intervention or interaction or anything needed from you as a sales rep. That is the preferred path, and that's going to happen, probably 70 to 80% of the time. So you guys run it in Aurora, run credit in Aurora the way you normally do, and everything will basically just work. Okay, in that scenario, I know this wasn't the question, but just to reiterate what Mark went over, in that scenario, again, loan docs aren't going to be sent from Aurora. They're going to be sent from Freedom System. The main benefit, one of the main benefits of that, just to tell something that I don't think we went over in the main video, is that when you convert your Aurora design to a Freedom project, when you land in Freedom, we have those pop-ups that say, hey, you forgot these adders, or hey, whatever the case may be. And then when you go through the Freedom Project Generator experience, there are some situations where things might change. So typically when it comes to adding a smart system, or when it comes to the battery quantity or battery type. So there are some changes that could be made during that project generation experience that would change your net PPW conceivably if you decided to kind of add more adders on at that point. The issue with that, of course, is that now you typically would have already sent loan docs out of Aurora, so it's kind of hard to change the gross contract price and the gross loan amount at that point because you've already sent out loan docs. But now, since the loan docs wouldn't have been sent at that point, you can still go back to Aurora, make pricing changes, talk about it with the homeowner. Hey, this is, as we're changing this or adding this or whatever, amount's going to change, your loan amount's going to change, and your monthly payment will change. And then you can just come right back to Freedom, convert it again, and the loan docs are not sent until the end of that project generation experience when the Freedom documents go out. They don't go out at the same time. So that is, I think, one of the main benefits of it. Does fix kind of that odd timing with the loan docs getting sent a little too early. So that's a big benefit. But to get back to the question, if ID gets skipped at what point as a homeowner sign the loan docs, if you don't go through this process, if you just skip it, if that screen pops up where it says, what's your Mosaic ID, and you decide to skip, you will have to send Mosaic loan docs directly from Mosaic in that scenario. Okay, so that is not the preferred scenario. I'll just going to put that out there. We don't want you to skip. But at this point in time, with where we're at and some other considerations, we decided let's keep the skip flow in there if you want to. That really should only be used in a very small percentage of cases. We expect that to be less than 5 or 10% of the situation. But in that case, you will have to go to Mosaic directly and send out loan docs from Mosaic. Okay. You won't be able to send out loan docs from Aurora anymore. We're going to turn that off. And you skipped sending them from Freedom. In that case, you'll have to log into Mosaic and send them, find the account, and send them right from there. Hopefully that makes sense. The onus is on you. If you're not going to use the integration, if you're not going to use, the tools that we've given you, in that case, you'll have to go and send it out manually from Mosaic. And the homeowner in that case would still have 2 sets of documents that they need to sign. They'll have the Freedom Agreement and all the Freedom docs, and then the Mosaic loan docs in 2 separate emails in 2 separate sessions.
All right, thank you, Rob. Next is from Kevin. This one's for Brian. What does the customer see? Is it all one email, and who is the email from?
Thanks, Kevin. So the customer will receive an email from Freedom to their email inbox, and it'll work the same way that normal Freedom contract signing takes place today. So they'll receive that email from Freedom. It will have the magic link contained in that email, and so they'll click that link, and it will take them right to their documents. And now what you'll have is you'll have both the Freedom Agreement and the Mosaic loan documents will be in the same signing session. So once they complete one document, it will automatically direct them to the next document and next until they've signed the document. No longer will the customers be receiving 2 different sets of emails where they'll get one from Mosaic to sign, one from Freedom to sign. Now it'll all come to them in one email. Click that one magic link and it'll take them through the full signing flow.
Thanks, Brian. I'm going to hide that one. And that kind of answers your question as well, Richard. Still going to apply and or CRM. You're going to do both. We'll apply for the loan side of Aurora. Once the loan is approved, then you will complete the convert to project with CRM like you would before. Only now those documents will be included in the overall document package when the owner signs.
And I'll add on to that. So in Aurora, we're going to be removing that email loan docs button from Aurora once this goes live tomorrow. So you'll no longer see that email loan docs button in Aurora. And we also won't be just like automatically sending those loan documents after the credit application has run in Aurora. What will happen now is once you click that exit to CRM button, that will then kick off the document signing.
All right. Our next question is for Nick. Will Sales Concierge be able to view loan docs when DocuSign?
Yeah, so when it comes to kind of the post-sale process, nothing there will change in this V1, but that is something that has so finally added for us is the ability to grab the PDF. So that's something we're working on as a V2 kind of potential fast follow here. So we will eventually get it into there, the file section. TBD on timing there, but it's on our radar for sure.
All right. Our next question is from Jake. Will Mosaic's pre-approval application be integrated as well, or does pre-approval be done before we get integrate with Lightspeed? Who wants that one?
I can take that one. Nothing will, at this point in time, nothing is changing with the credit application. So you're still going to do that the same way you always have, which is you have two options. You can either do it in Aurora, whether that's through email or whether that's on screen. You can also opt to go directly and choose those options as well from email it or send it out, or do it on screen. So nothing will change at this point in time on how you run credit. That will stay the exact same. In the future, we do have some things planned with, allowing you to do credit in system. That is not going live right now, so that's not part of this. Short answer for right now is nothing will change on how you run credit to how you're doing it today. Only the loan doc signing piece that is changing.
All right, this one's from Jansen for Brian. What if we docs tonight, but they sign until tomorrow?
Good question. So if sending them tonight, we'll still have the process as it stands today, where they'll receive an email from Mosaic for their loan doc. and an email from Freedom for their Freedom contract. So this change is not taking effect until tomorrow. So anything that's generated today and signed or sent out today will be 2 emails, one from Mosaic, one from Freedom. However, for tomorrow moving forward, we'll just be that one email.
Thanks, Brian. What happens in case of a change order? So does the change order process change at all with this change? And I said change a lot there.
Nothing about this is changing the change order process currently. This is just on the front end. There's a decent chance we'll kind of look at and potentially improve some things with the change order process in the future, but nothing about it that I can think of, at least. Nick, keep me honest, but nothing is going to change.
All right. Next question is, when manually entering Mosaic ID, if the application is not approved, will Lightspeed flag why it was not approved?
It won't. It'll basically, just say, I guess it kind of will give you 2 different error messages, right? It's going to give you a denied, which of course means it was denied, or it's going to give you essentially a, hey, Mosaic ID not found or credit not. So we'll know a little bit about what's going on based on the error message, but it's not going to tell you, because their FICO score's too low or because they didn't have enough income or anything like that. That would live in the credit decision that the homeowner gets. So I think the answer to that question is no.
And to really piggyback on that, it's we've talked to Mosaic about this, and due to the sensitive financial information and the way that they do their checks, they're not comfortable and not going to be comfortable telling us exactly why. They've given us some examples of what could happen, but they'll never be specific.
Yeah, if customers want more specifics on why a specific application was denied, they can always call in Mosaic. There are things that Mosaic can share with the customers directly that they're not allowed to share with Freedom or the sales rep project, but customers themselves should be able to get more information by calling Mosaic directly.
All right, next question is from Talia, and it's in case the magic link doesn't work for any reason, what would be the workaround for that?
That's a tough one to answer. It depends on why. It's kind of a similar. You could ask today for normal Freedom doc. So I don't know that I can answer that. It would be very specific. As it relates to the Mosaic loan documents, you can always go to Mosaic directly in kind of a break glass scenario. If for whatever reason the loan docs aren't working in Freedom's system, kind of worst case scenario, whether you've created that, whether you run credit in Mosaic directly or from Aurora, you will have a Mosaic account that lives in the Mosaic platform that you can go look at and run, send loan docs out of. So if the worst were to come to pass, go to Mosaic. You can send loan docs from there. The customer would get the email from Mosaic in that scenario. If the magic link doesn't work, though, that also means that you wouldn't be able to sign documents. So one way or the other, you're kind of in trouble. So that's why we don't foresee that happening. But in that particular case, we'd have to better understand what's going on. There's probably some bug, but that's kind of a theoretical scenario that hasn't happened yet. So we don't necessarily think that.
Thanks, Rob. Next question is for Nick and Brian. This can be used for existing projects. Mosaic is having issues getting electronic communications sent. Homeowner has signed everything and the project is now on hold. The question is, can I send that from Lightspeed on existing deal?
So we won't be able to use this for existing projects. This new integration is going to be on a go-forward basis once it goes live tomorrow. However, the electronic communications form is typically only for projects where There's a co-applicant and the document signed in one signing session, meaning that the customers both sign through the same flow. And so what Mosaic has is they send additional email to the co-applicant just to make sure that we have access to their email. They're agreeing to communicate electronically. And so while the loan docs may have all been signed, that's very true. It's likely that they're still pending the co-applicant going into their email and approving that electronic communications. So what I would recommend is for the co-applicant to go into their email and look at that. If you're saying, no, he or she did that, and it's not working, the next step I would recommend would be to reach out to our project support to help facilitate communication with Mosaic, or you can reach out to Mosaic directly and talk through that specific scenario with them. Nick, anything to add there?
That's all spot on that case, and I think that's true for already submitted projects, but projects that have been created as of today or earlier that have not been submitted, we can trigger this flow. So starting tomorrow. So that's a small caveat. If you're having trouble getting a loan doc signed to get something submitted, excuse me, then that is something that we could potentially trigger in their flow if we notice they haven't signed docs via Mosaic's API. But yeah, everything that Brian said holds true for submitted already deals.
Thanks, guys. And we have a question from Nick, and that is, how again do we find the Mosaic ID after credit approval? So if the credit application is approved in Aurora and you convert the project using Exit CRM, it's going to copy over and generate loan documents. If there's a reason where you need to grab the application ID from the Mosaic portal, you would go to Mosaic's portal at mosaic.com, log into their partner portal, and copy the application ID from there. And again, we're going to send our recap with an explanation video and a copy of this later this afternoon to review as well. And want to add to that?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. So one little helpful tip when navigating in the Mosaic portal, you log into their Mosaic portal. Their search function isn't always the easiest to navigate. And so what I've found is that searching by the customers or the borrower's email address has been the easiest way to find the correct customer in their portal. So if you use the email address that was used for their credit application, if you're having trouble finding them in the Mosaic portal, just copy and paste the borrower email into the search bar, and that should pull up the customer with the credit applications that you see there for that customer. You'll select the one that has the past credit, copy that application ID, and then that's what you can use for when moving forward.
I think this one's worth sharing one more time, Mark. I'm gonna here you go. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see if this works okay. You guys see my screen okay?
I just sent it through, so it should be live.
All right, very good. So, all right. So for those that don't have, because I know probably many of you are used to not ever going to Mosaic directly, or many of you are probably used to, and ignore the tabs up here, got a lot going on. Most of you are probably used to going to Aurora and only using Aurora and not going to Mosaic directly. And I just want to reiterate that I don't think that's going to change much here. Like, I don't think you're going to have to go to Mosaic often, if ever, to get this done. But in case that you do, this is the URL. As Mark said, you can go to justjoin.com and then log in. Or if you go to the Freedom one directly, it's freedomforever.joinmosaic.com. So if you don't have that bookmark saved, I would highly recommend that you save that in your favorites so you can get to it. You'll then put in your credentials. If you don't know what they are, you can use your email and forgot password, or hit up Freedom Stealer admin team or Mosaic directly. Once you log in, you're going to have all of your customers here. So I have a lot of customers. I see everybody's, but I just want to point out the Mosaic application ID, which is what you need to enter, is right. It's really hard to miss. It's right here. So all you need to do is just copy that, paste it in to the Freedom side, and that's what we're looking for here. And so basically, um, you know, what Freedom System is looking for is approved status, right? So pre-application, pre-qualified. So it's got to be approved for this to work properly. If it's not, credit hasn't been run yet, or it's in progress, or whatever, that's not going to let you progress. It's got to be pre-qualified or loan app sent, submitted, signed, any of those. So that's it.
Thanks, Rob. We have reached the end of our questions. So if you have any questions specifically regarding the Mosaic document integration process, we have a couple more minutes before we cut everybody loose. We do want to reiterate that this will be sent out. You will have access to this via email. It'll be hosted in the video library, and it won't be available directly in the Sales Resource Center, but if you log into Lightspeed and go to the video library, it will be added to product education video library.